Welcome, good people. Welcome to another episode of Peep Game Presents live at 5. I'm your man, SRD, and my main man, 100 Grand, Big Muz. He's busy again today, so we're going to do another half-hour session. Big Muz and I have been talking, and, I want to clarify something for those of you who are watching. When you hear me speak about us being able to put together our own states, to reestablish our states and fill the empty seats of the Empire of Morocco, that definitely needs to be done. However, it's only going to be as effective as we are as statesmen and state women. And that means we as a people have to change the way we think, change the way we see each other, change the way we handle situations. That's what it will require for us to be able to see the results that you hear me speak about. There are so many benefits of being able to put together our own laws that many of us probably fail to realize or even look over. The things that we really don't see a lot of times when we are struggling and trying to make a better lives for us as a people in the country of America, in the land of America, is that America has established its government and its laws to benefit its people. And the reason why we feel like an outsider many times is because we truly are. And there are some of us who feel comfortable with America and feel comfortable as being Americans. And those of you who feel comfortable as being Americans, you still have that option to remain an American. You don't have to come to be a Moroccan more. You don't have to do that. However, my main concern is for us as a people to get ourselves together where we be able to overcome some of the residue of the European thinking or the Americanized thinking that causes us to look at one another in a manner that is unhealthy for us. We have a tendency to look at each other in ways that doesn't truly bring us together or benefit us, and we look at each other in ways such as, with envy. We envying another person. We wish that it was us instead of them when it's something rewarding. We take and steal from each other. Those type of things are not in our nature, and it's time for us to realize that a lot of behaviors that we have has been indoctrinated in us from being in a surrounding. Many of you who be around individuals, you can find yourself being influenced by the people that you're around. So it benefits each of us to be around people whom we want to be like, whom we want to look at in a manner and grow from. Being around people who don't take you to a higher level is not benefiting you. The goal is to be around those individuals whom you would like to emulate, whom you would like to look up to or aspire to be. It's crucial that in this day and time, us as a people come to the realization that we coming together and doing what it is that we are capable of doing as far as being able to do good business with each other. No one should have to tell us that we should shop with each other. There's no one, and the other thing is, excuse me, there's no reason that we who have skills, there are many different people who have different types of skills, and we should be able to utilize each other's skills to make each of our lives easier. There are people who are good with plumbing. There are people who are good with numbers. So anything that we want or need, we have within ourselves. And don't get it misunderstand me when I say this. I'm not saying that we shouldn't deal with other people. We should always be able to deal with everyone around the globe. The goal is to be able to deal with everyone around the globe, but the other goal is to also be able to deal with individuals on the same level as they are. Far too long, we as a people have been on a lower level when we're dealing with people. We're always, it appears that we've been at a disadvantage most times. And this is not just in America, this is all across the world, where we as a people be at a disadvantage when we're doing business with other people. So, our best aspect, my suggestion is that we learn to do better business with each other so that when we do business with other people, we already have an understanding of how to do business. With that being said, it's it's a time for us to really examine what's going on around us and what do we want as a people? What do we want to change? What do we want for ourselves? And many of us want a better life, and many of us are doing fine. However, for those few who are struggling, my mindset is we're not good as a people until every one of us who wants to do better is doing better. We have to be realistic and understand that some of us are comfortable in the lifestyle that they're living. And there's not much we can do about it but wait until those individuals are ready for a different lifestyle. However, for anyone who wants a better life, it's a responsibility on all of us to do what we can to help that person have a better life. Ultimately, it's about living a better life, living a peaceful life, living a happy life, and being able to be respected for who you are and how you conduct yourself. That's a serious thing where many of us, you know, we let it fall to the wayside. And we've been under, I want to say, under attack to an extent, and us being under attack is basically for the purpose of keeping us at a disadvantage and keeping us to a point where we have to be dependent on others. And mind you, when you really look at everything and you really weigh everything out, a lot of individuals eat well off of us. And however, many of us complain that we aren't able to profit from one another, to build from one another, and other people gain. For example, name brand, you know, different name brands that we spend money on, different cars that we spend money on. A lot of people are profiting off of what we spend our money on, and we are not spending our money on ourselves to grow our nation. And to some people, if you think that seems like we're separating, then look around you. Look at every other people and how they maneuver, especially the Jews and those whom recognize themselves as Latinos. They come together to work together to benefit the whole. And that's something we don't do enough. And it's not the fact that we don't do it. We do it. But it's time to do it more. And it's time for us to be the great people, the great example, the great influence that we know we can be, that we believe inside and see. And it all starts from inside. One person begins to change. I'm one person, and I'm looking at you guys so that you guys can begin to start bringing about the change within yourselves, and then ultimately start bringing about the change within your families, and then your neighborhoods, because neighborhoods is what I grew up on. I grew up in a neighborhood, and it wasn't until I got to a certain age and started getting involved in certain activities where the neighborhood became the hood. I started getting involved in those activities, and then the, we still had the neighbors, but it started getting to the hood thing, and we somehow lost the neighbors, and we ended up with just the hood. And now it's time for us to reestablish the neighborhood. I don't like to say what anyone have to do, so I try to be mindful when I'm speaking to you guys about have to, because at the end of the day, we each have a choice. Anything that we do is our choice to make. Sometimes we get influenced and it's a little less our choice, is more the influence. But for the most part, we get the opportunity to make choices. And life is based on the choices that we make. If we make good choices, we get good things out of life. We make bad choices, a lot of times we get bad things out of life. It's just that simple. However, at the end of the day, we still, life is full of a journey. Life is a journey. Life is full of struggles. So you're going to have natural struggles. You're going to have times where you feel like giving up. You're going to have times in your life where you feel that no one is there for you, you know? And all of these things are important because in order for us to be the people that we're capable of being, there's a refinement that we're going to have to undergo. We're going to have to refine ourselves. You know my position on when we utilize you know words and things that were put there for us. We have to redefine ourselves. We and I'm using that word again. We It's time for us to redefine ourselves and no longer let anyone define us as who we are, who we should be called, or what we should be doing, or how we should be behaving ourselves. Ultimately, what I would love to see is a place where we can all be comfortable, where we can all be able to maneuver without fear of retaliation, without fear of somebody that you are close to doing something to harm you. That is the life that we all deserve to live. And this is not just us, this is all humanity. The whole humanity deserves to live in a place of peace, a place absent of confusion. And how do you get to a point where you're absent of confusion? When you get to a point to be absent of confusion, when you start dealing with each other in equality, when you get to a point where you're not trying to get the upper hand on the next man or the next woman, it's dealing with each other in an equal manner where both people walk away feeling like nothing was wrong. They nothing was done wrong to them. Far too often we have individuals come together and one individual or certain individuals want to come out on top. This is a mindset that it's time to change. It's time to change that mindset. It's time to change the mindset of getting over. For the majority of my life, I, I've always strived, I've done my best to strive to be fair, fair with people, being fair. This is a word, fair and equality, being fair with people, being equal with people, and dealing in equality are words that we don't hear that often. Many times we're not striving to be equal with each other. Once we learn how to relearn how to be equal with one another, we can eliminate a lot of that confusion, a lot of the headaches, and a lot of the aggravation that we go through many times, many of us who have deal with people who try to straight up get over on you. That's a mentality. That's a mentality. That's a mindset that can be adjusted. A person don't necessarily have to stay that way or continue to be that way. We as the individual had the power to change that. We had the power to change behaviors that we are not comfortable with and no longer comfortable with, and replace those behaviors with better behaviors that we are comfortable with, that are more beneficial to us. What do you think most of us choose a religion for? We choose a religion so that we can connect to a higher power to become a higher level of ourselves. That's what religion is all about. So when you find a religion, and if it's helping you grow to a higher level of self, a higher level of awareness, where you're able to deal with people in a better and a higher level, where you're comfortable, and anytime you do connect with a person, the most times they're comfortable too. Now we have to be realistic that there's a lot of times that people going to misunderstand what you're trying to say. And when people misunderstand what you try to say, they put what they think it should be. And then it becomes some type of conflict. And that's something we all know that happens. How do we deal with that? These are everyday things, everyday occurrences that we deal with on a daily basis, that it's time for us to start to deal with them on a better level that will build us and build those around us. It's all about us and how we deal with each other and how we deal with the world and how we are being perceived based on what we are putting out. This is where we at as human beings. As human beings, we all want to be loved. We all want to be respected. We all want to be protected. We all want to be happy. These are all human qualities that we all share. And these are the qualities that it's time for us to start tapping into so that we can see that there's more similarities when it comes to us as people, as humans, than there are differences. And we begin to utilize the similarities to work amongst each other, to be amongst each other. Because once we completely reestablish the 50 states, we're still going to have to live amongst Americans. We're still going to have to do that. So that's just something that's going to happen. So why not start preparing for what it is we're going to be doing? And that's just in your life in general. What you want out of life, start preparing your mind to receive that for what you want. Utilize your thought pattern. It's amazing how powerful the mind is, but how much it's being watered down due to social media and certain advertisement and even partly education, being miseducated. Many of us have been miseducated when it came to certain things. And that's okay. Once you realize that you've been miseducated, once you realize you've been miseducated, then it's time to re-educate yourself on something that you know is proper. It's proper education always causes elevation. And that's an acronym for peace. So as long as we start properly educating ourselves, educating our children, and educating each other, because I learn from you, you learn from me, we learn from each other. So as you watching me, I'm hoping that I'm giving you something that you can take back and share with somebody else. And I'm open for questions and comments so you guys can interact with me because I do this for us. This is about us rising up to a better level of self, a better understanding of each other, a better way of life so that all the turmoil that many of us deal with each day begin to decrease because it's very rare do things just stop and don't be anymore. It has to decrease. It's levels. It start going down or it start coming up. So as we start decreasing the chaos around us, it first got to start decreasing the chaos within ourselves. Many of us struggle within ourselves on a daily basis. There's even me on a daily basis, there's struggles that I go through within myself that I have to check and I have to struggle with and battle with. And that's okay because ultimately it's our choice. Once we struggle within ourselves, we get to understand that other people have struggles too. It's called empathy, being able to look at yourself and look at your flaws and look at your struggles and being able to see those flaws and struggles in another person. And it gives you the ability to be compassionate towards that individual. These are the type of things that we have within us that many times we may not express the way we want to. And it's a learning process. We all are learning. Each and every day we live, we learn and we grow. So the first day, today is the beginning of another day. It gets us to a point where as long as we can have another day, we have another day to change. Each and every day we survive, we should strive. It's our to our benefit to strive to learn something and gain something that we didn't know the prior day. If we continue to do that, elevate, there's there's no limitation to what we can do once we begin to start looking at what we see differently than what we have been. When we start looking at humanity as a whole and we reestablish our place in humanity and then reestablishing our families, our family structures. Our family structures is super important because that's the nucleus. If the families are not strong, then your neighborhood is not strong. And if your neighborhood is not strong, your city's not strong, and ultimately the state. So it starts with each of you, each of you who taking the time to watch, and you are very much appreciated. I appreciate you from taking the time out of your day to watch. And with all my heart, I'm hoping that something I say be able to touch you in a meaningful way so that you will be able to share some of what I said with some other people. And ultimately, we get this thing rolling to where we each start to see each other in a better way. We start to see ourselves and we start to grow beyond who we have been, and we start to become who we want to be or who we believe we could be or even who we are meant to be. These are ideas or ideologies that will help us. It's about self-help and helping others. This is what we're here for. We're not here for a lot of the stuff that we've getting caught up in. We're here to be able to help each other. If it was, if it wasn't for that, then it would just be one person here. So we all are here for a purpose. We all are here to help each other. That's every nationality across the world. That's every man and woman. We're here to help each other. We're here to be a beacon of light for each other, for the world. However, we have to begin the change within ourselves. The change starts with us. Once we make the change, we can begin to change that which is around us. Until we're able to make that change within ourselves, then a lot of the things around us will remain the same. And that's very important for us to remember that we begin to change. Each and every one of us, each and every one of us begin that change, begin that journey within ourselves and within our family members. It's time. And the only thing is holding us back is us. At the end of the day, in the beginning of the day, it's us that's holding us back. Because once you take the blinders off and you can see what's wrong in your life or what's wrong in your environment, now you have the ability to begin to start putting the work in to change that which is in your environment, to change that which is in your household, to change that which is in you that you're uncomfortable with, that you want to see grow and that you want to see better. We as individuals all have that. We have the choice and we have the power. And it's time for us to utilize that choice and that power to make the changes that we want to see, whatever we want to see in the world, however we want the world to be. We have the ability to make it that way as long as we begin to change within ourselves. We can do it. And it's all about having faith and putting the work in. And of course, we all have fear. So don't be afraid of fear. However, don't allow fear to stop you from doing what needs to be done to make the changes that you want to see. That's the key. Not allowing fear to hold you back from being the best you can be. Fear is a big thing. It exists. However, most times it's based on something that it didn't even happen, something you think that might happen, that may not happen. So that's how we got to look at fear. It may happen, it may not happen, but we get the opportunity to push forward to see. And if it does happen, we deal with it then. However, it's not something that we allow to stop us from making progress. We, all of you who are listening, you have the ability to make the changes you want to see. And we got 30 seconds left, and I appreciate every one of you. And I would like for you all to take some time out of your day and go to YouTube and watch the Impact Study sessions. I can't emphasize that enough. Until tomorrow, I wish you and your families love, peace, and happiness. Okay, Thomas, I love you guys. See you guys tomorrow. Peace.